I don't know if you guys watched the race or the highlights, but I did not think this was going to be how I introed this video or in the middle of the live stream. Hi, people in the live stream. But if you missed it, William Byron and Ty Dillon had an insane incident where Ty Dillon, there was a lack of communication, and essentially the rule is you got to stick your hand out the window and like wave that you're on the back stretch before you come to pit road. You got to wave out the window saying I'm coming to pit road. And also the spotters are usually talking to each other saying, hey, we're going to pit. Well, William Byron did not know that Ty Dillon was pitting. As a result, this happened.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
Spotters will signal, wave their arms, I'm pitting, and...
Well, you're probably wondering, this is a Shane Van Gisbergen race recap. Why are we talking about an incident between William Byron and Ty Dillon? Because earlier in that race, in stage one, almost the exact same thing happened to Shane Van Gisbergen when Michael McDowell decided to try to pit from very high up. SVG actually had to slam on the brakes, downshift, and just watch it yourself. So that was that was scary, and that was also a really, really good week for SVG to have an underwear sponsor, because after that, yeah. Anywho, let's get into his race recap. Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Las Vegas Motor Speedway has been terrible to Shane Van Gisbergen. Like, I don't know what it is, but this track just hates him. Going back to his Xfinity days, had 2 starts in the Xfinity series, did not make it out of stage 1 in either of them because of mechanical failures. Go to his Cup starts. He started this race in Cup last year. It's a 1.5-mile racetrack, very similar to Kansas. Remember a couple weeks ago, Kansas, where SVG got his first oval top 10. So similar track, multi-grooved 1.5 miles, which is 2.41 kilometers. So a great chance at another competitive result potentially. But anyways, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the same Las Vegas, yes, as where the gambling happens, where the shows happen, where the F1 race happens on the strip, and of course the home of the greatest invention in human history, the sphere. Look at this thing. Is that not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? Every single time I see it, it's like, I don't know. If the aliens invade us, send them to the sphere, and that alone will make them not invade us. So, anywho, Las Vegas, sum it back up. Home of the sphere, 1.5 mile racetrack. SVG's done really good at the 1.5 miles this year. So, speaking of the 1.5 miles, the first couple of races this year were awful. Homestead, awful. Vegas in the spring, awful. Qualified poorly, wrecked out of that race. Just no speed. Nothing went right. As I said, Las Vegas has not treated SVG well at all up until this weekend. But the 1.5 miles, those results have gotten better. Top 25 at Texas, top 20 at Kansas in the spring, top 15 at Charlotte, and then a top 10 at Kansas a couple weeks ago. Let's actually get into this race now. I'll stop rambling. So he has his best 1.5 mile start of the year. Started 13th in this race. When we go back and we look at Kansas a couple of weeks ago, he didn't really qualify that great, but he didn't qualify as horrid as he did in the spring. He qualified 24th. Of course, in Kansas, you didn't really get to see the speed that they had because they had that penalty. They had to start at the rear, then they had to do the pit road pass-through and stop and go. So they were battling back from a lap down. They were battling back from the 30s for the first half of the race, and you never really got to see that speed. Well, yesterday you got to see that speed. SVG qualifies 13th. He starts the race 13th. He doesn't have to drop to the rear. No penalties for this race. Now, he had a rough start. He went from 13th to 19th like that. Like, I'm not even kidding. It might have been the first lap. He dropped 6 spots. Then things settled down. And that was really the lowest he ever ran this entire race, 19th. Not even kidding. He never dropped out of the top 20 unless it was the pit cycle or the wreck we'll talk about. He had slowly moved his way up. There was a pit stop in the middle of this. As I said, there was that near incident with McDowell. But he made his way up to 15th before a late stage caution hit. They opted to pit, took some tires, and they ended up finishing stage 1 in 12th place. And stage 2 went really, 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 really well for the 88 team. The car was dialed in. I don't know how else to put it. But SVG ran in the top 10 for the majority of this stage. He even drove up to 8th, as high as 8th, when it wasn't a pit cycle or anything. He was on raw speed, running 8th place at a mile and a half, running up, battling with Joey Logano, battling with Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman. These are multi-time Cup Series winners. These are two of those guys have won at Las Vegas. One of those guys is a 3-time champion, defending champion of this race. So it's like, wow, this is like a really good run for the 88 team. Like, they're starting to figure it out. And once again, I'm going to emphasize the mile and a halves. He's figured something. I don't know what it is, but something has clicked for SVG at these mile and a halves. Entering the year, if you told me that the mile and a halves were going to be SVG's best tracks on speed, I would have said no, because the short tracks suit him better because it's heavy braking, very similar to a road course, and you got to manage your tires. And then you got the super speedways where randomness happens, and really that's the best way to adapt. But the mile and a halves are so hard because they're completely different to anything else. They're high speed, it's not heavy braking, and sometimes you don't really got to manage tires as much as a short track or a Darlington or whatever. But SVG's figured something out of these mile and a halves, man. I don't know what it is, but the numbers will show it. The speed as of the last 3 mile and a halves that they've run have shown that he has indeed figured something out. Now, as I said, he drove up to 8th. He was in the top 10 for the majority of the stage, but he started to slip at the end of stage 2, so he didn't quite get any stage points. He ended up finishing stage 2 in 11th, and he just said on the radio that he had lost the rears at the end, but he did say that the car was really good, and he was very happy with it. Just at the end of the run, he had run in the top 10 the majority of stage 2, just finished outside of stage points. How's stage 3 going to go? Not as well. They started up in 12th where they finished stage 2, and it just kind of went down. Started to fade, fell back to 15th, fell back to 16th. He said it was way effing tight, and then just kept on saying that it's way too tight. 3 or 4 numbers. I don't know what that means. And Stephen Doran on the radio said they had made a slight air pressure adjustment, and they think that's what the problem was, and that they would adjust it as needed or go back on the adjustment if they needed to. But then later in the run, he started to pick up the pace a bit, started to reel in 15th. The spotter or crew chief, someone came on the radio and said that he was running top 4 lap time, so they were still fast. It's just at this point they were 16th. They make their final green flag pit stop with about 50 laps to go. I wrote down 50 laps to go. I don't know if it was that exact number. It was like 49, 50, or 51. Well, then the next run, so the last one, he said it was way effing tight. Well, this run, it was loose as F. So they went too far the other way on the adjustments, which that happens in NASCAR from time to time. Then a caution comes out with 29 laps to go. That William Byron incident that I referenced earlier, that was the caution with 29 laps to go. SVG said that it was probably a good idea to keep it the same for a short run, because you got to remember these runs that they're running are very, very long. They're running 40 laps before they do a green flag pit stop, and in grand total, I think the longest green flag run was probably 80 laps if I had to guess. So this is going to be under 25 laps for a shootout. Cars got to handle different. The tires are going to do different. Like all these little technical things, like a 25 lap run is much, much different than running 80 laps and having a pit stop in the middle of it. And I don't know if I'm spilling state secrets here, but they said the code word Toronto on the radio, and we're about to talk about what Toronto means. No, it's not the city in Canada. No, it is not the Blue Jays, who are currently in a 2-0 hole in the ALCS. Toronto apparently means 2-tire pit stop. So Shane Van Gisbergen, as I said, he was running top 10 very early in this race, in the middle part of this race, but later in the race, they had kind of faded a bit. They had fallen back to 16th. Track position is key in these NASCAR races. Vegas is a track that you can pass at, yes. Multiple grooves, bottom, middle, top, you can pass wherever, but track position, it's king. Like, it's a very, very important thing to have. So Stephen Doran makes a call. Let's take 2 tires and let's see how this thing goes. Well, they took 2 tires. They came out of pit road in 5th place, restarted the race in 6th. Let's see if they can hold on, and it's over. Yep, didn't even make it to turn 1. Same week, different story. If you're an SVG fan and you're just losing your mind, just tired of it, it's NASCAR, man. If it's on a restart, it happens a lot. Sometimes there's nothing you can do. I've seen some of you in the comments, the theories that they're out to take out SVG. It's not that deep. It's just wrong place, wrong time. The New Hampshire one, it was a dumb move by Brad Keselowski. This week, it wasn't even as bad as a Keselowski. Like Keselowski, that was stage 2 and he was driving like a moron. This one, it's late in the race. Everyone's fighting for every inch. Christopher Bell's fighting for a championship. Ty Gibbs wants to go for his first win. And I will say that Gibbs' spotter relayed over the radio, follow the green. Well, the car in front of Ty Gibbs was the green car of Alex Bowman, who he was probably trying to follow in a gap that Bowman had made 3 wide to advance his position. And I think it was just a mix of Bell didn't have any time to react or any space because he had SVG here, he had Gibbs here, and the gap kept on closing, and then all of a sudden Bell can't do anything, and they crash. Maybe Gibbs came up, the different angles show different things. I don't think you can really yell at anyone for this. I don't think it's SVG's fault. Let me get that clear. It's not his fault. Like, it's just racing. It just happens. Cautions, someone in the comments, Corey said it. Cautions breed cautions. Like, it just kind of happens. It's tough luck. As I said, if you're an SVG fan, you're probably tired of seeing him wreck. It's happened at Atlanta. It's happened at Daytona. It's happened at New Hampshire. It's happened at Vegas. Like, it just happens. And this year it's happened a lot for SVG. He's a rookie. He's learning. He's talked about how different people have raced him, how playoff drivers, if you're a playoff driver versus not, people race you different, or sometimes they don't give a crap and they just run through you anyway. So it's just tough luck. I really don't know how else to put it. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, also, I didn't really talk about it, but he had a really cool New Zealand kind of paint scheme thing. So that was neat, but it ended up wrecked. So that's unfortunate. But thank you guys for watching this video. I had a great time on Sunday night or Saturday night into Sunday morning watching the Bathurst 1000. So that was cool. So if you were there for that, thanks for being there. But anywho, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one.